All right. Well, welcome everybody to the Couples Academy. Elise and I and Kathy could not be more excited to have you guys here. We've been preparing for this for probably the last 2 to 3 months, and it's something that we know is near and dear to us because 2020 has been what a year nobody expected. Um, but we really want to make sure that people know coming into this that it's focused on us as individuals because when we know what we want as an individual, when we become clear on our mission, our values, and ultimately the vision of what we want to create, that allows us to put the actions in place to actually make it happen and carry it out. And without that, we end up chasing our tails quite often and feeling like we aren't able to quite get there.
Yeah, I mean, very well said. And I think, when Justin and I sat down and thought about this, we were like, how can we speak to somebody a little bit different? And so I know Justin talked a lot about individuality, your own personalized mission. So I guess the burning question for a lot of you may be, so why is it called the Couples Academy? So the reason why we asked all of you to show up with your person, with your partner, with whoever that person is for you in your life is because it is so important to not only find your own individual personal mission, but to do that with your partner. And that is a journey that Justin and I have been on together for the last almost 4 years now. I can't believe I'm actually saying that we've been together. And it has been quite the journey. And we've been on part of that journey with Kathy, who is our own personal couples coach as well, our relationship coach. And we wanted to be able to help like-minded people like us go on a similar journey and a similar mission to find their own personal mission, but with their own personal vision, but with their partner.
I mean, and a big story that I kind of want to lead off with is, and a feeling that I think a lot of people can have is so often in life, we try to level up. We try to step into ways in which we can become better versions of ourselves. And what happens is we do it as individuals, but we don't include the other person. We go to retreats or we go away for a weekend or we read books or we see a speaker and it's something really resonates with us. And we start to apply it, we start to do it, but because we don't have an environment or a community that is bought in together with us, sometimes that better half is maybe doesn't feel or share that same excitement. But here, we're able to create our own individual mission, our own individual vision, and take that step as individuals together.
Yep, exactly. So a couple just rules for the next 6 sessions, the next 3 weeks. So I will be monitoring the chat. If you guys have any questions, feel free to pop it in the chat. Also, this is an open conversation, so if you have a question, you can, raise your virtual hand or your actual hand. We will be looking. I'm sure you all saw the emails. There is a workbook that was sent. We're not asking you to fill out that workbook during this hour. It's very soul searching. There's a lot of thought that has to go into it, so you're not going to necessarily get to the crux of it in this hour. But it is meant to kind of look at and start to get those wheels turning as we start to talk you through it within each one of these hours. And then obviously the goal is to talk through it with your partner after each session is over. What is my personal mission? Answer those questions on your own, but then talk about it together. And then third is if you do look at page 10 in your workbook, there's a section to talk about key takeaways, or one main thing that you got from each session. So I don't want you to get to module six, session six, and say, oh gosh, I didn't even know this was happening. So as we go through, just refer to that page 10 as well, because we want to talk about some of that kind of stuff in the last session as well. So that's kind of the ground rules. They're pretty easy rules to follow. So yeah, before we get into the day, Justin and I wanted to introduce ourselves. So I know I've met some of you, I haven't met all of you. My name is Elise. Justin and I are the co-founders of Own It, and we coach through energy, what we call the energy equation. So Justin coaches outer energy, I coach inner energy. My own personal experience, I worked in the fashion industry for almost 12 years, most recently at a company called Christian Louboutin. So yeah, I ultimately felt a little unfulfilled on that path and decided to embark upon this path with Justin. And it's been quite the roller coaster, but it has been certainly much more fulfilling than looking at expensive shoes all day long.
And I, of course, am Justin. I'm co-founder of Own It with Elise, and spent the last 10 years in the performance space, working on outer energy, some in the NHL, some in the NCAA, and have been able to now program that over into entrepreneurs, executives, and creatives alike in really maximizing their human experience. And I'll let you introduce Kathy.
Yes, so we also have our guest star, Kathy, with us. Some of you saw her on the beginning of the call, but Kathy, as I mentioned, is our own personal relationship coach. We have been with her, I think, since April, and she has been quite the amazing spiritual relationship, everything guide to us. And as our own relationship guru, we asked her to join us throughout the Couples Academy. I'll let her introduce herself, but she will be doing 2 full sessions throughout this program.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Kathy Dawson. I'm a relationship coach, and I've been a relationship coach for 29 years. I'm sorry? Oh, I thought
there's just some feedback.
Oh,
maybe we should all go on mute,
yeah.
just to be sure.
So anyway, I've been a relationship coach for 29 years, and I'm really honored that Elise and Justin would ask me to partner with them in this project. Honestly, it's right up my alley. I was really excited when they told me about it, because I'm a big believer that we're individuals before we're a couple, right? I'm not a big believer in attached to the hip. I mean, yes, you want to have quality time with your partner, but you want to be yourself first. And then when you come together as individuals who have a vision individually and you can share that with each other, then you can create a joint vision for your relationship. I've seen this over and over again, and it's very exciting. So I am honored to be asked to participate in this. Thank you.
No, we're so excited to have you, Kathy. And throughout this whole experience, we really want it to be something that is interactive, something that everybody feels comfortable, everybody gets to know each other and becomes a community. So whether you're coming live, whether you're watching the recordings, you really are able to optimize this experience and get to know one another. And like Elise said, utilize the chat, utilize your virtual hand, throw questions in because she'll be monitoring it the whole time. And by doing so, we want you to feel comfortable. So we're going to go around right now really quick. It's going to be a hot seat introduction. And we are going to have at her. And the first thing we're going to do when I call on you, I want you to shout out the number of squares of toilet paper that you utilize when you utilize the bathroom. And yes, this is true. We're going to get real intimate real fast. So for me, I use 4. Elise?
I use 3.
Kathy?
I'm embarrassed to say this. I use 5.
Oh, there you go. Tarek?
I think it's 5 for me. 4 or 5.
There we go. Carmen and Ron.
I don't really count, but 5.
Okay.
I'm just a guess. I'm thinking 12.
Wow. Okay, I love it. Trisha.
I have no idea. 4, 5, 6. I have no idea.
All right.
It's David.
Way more
David?
than 5.
Way more than 5. Alan. You're on mute, Alan.
That's a good move.
You have,
It looked like he said 8.
you have to unmute.
There we go.
8.
8.
I have never counted, but I would say probably 8.
Perfect. Dave.
Yeah, I'm thinking if we're double ply, like maybe 7.
Okay. Perfect.
Whole roll. I don't know.
Right on.
Yep.
And Dave, what's your wife's name?
Debbie.
Debbie.
I would say 3 or 4.
Perfect. All right. We're going to go back to the beginning now. However many squares you said, that is how many things you have to rattle off about yourself. So I had 4. So for me, my name's Justin. I'm currently in Buffalo, New York. I'm going to Miami this weekend, and Elise is my better half.
Thought it was best half.
Best half, you're right.
My name is Elise. I lived in New York City for almost 12, 13 years. And we have a dog named Dell, who is potentially my better half.
Kathy.
Okay, I'm Kathy, and I live in Cleveland Heights, Ohio. I have 3 kids, 2 sons and a daughter. We have a wonderful doggie named Nellie. I love to play Scrabble, and I would consider myself an avid reader.
Love it. Tarek.
So, my name is Tarek. I'm currently on the island of St. Croix. My family is a Middle Eastern mixed background, Egypt, Syria, Palestine, Armenia. I'm also part British, so I consider that all one. I've got a master's degree in conflict resolution, and I also just love being of service, adding value, coaching and training people.
I love it. Carmen.
Wow, and I would have said 2 if I knew that. I'm Carmen. I'm a grandma of 4. I like to shop. My better half, Ron. One more. We live in Florida.
There you go. Ron, you're up.
All right, so name's Ron, live in West Palm Beach. Sorry, I said 12. I'm in the software business. I love to work out with Lisa and Justin. And yeah, we have 4 children, 4 grandkids, and life is amazing.
I love it, Ron. Great work. Great work. Trisha.
My name is Trisha. I live in Cleveland, Ohio. I've done many workshops with David and Kathy. That's how I know Kathy. That's how I'm on here. I have 4 kids.
Oh, that was one of mine. Okay.
And I don't know, what else should I say?
Run your own business.
I run my own business. Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Pleasure to have you, Trisha. Dave.
I forget how many I said again, 2 or. So yeah, I'm Dave. I'm also in Cleveland, Ohio. Sometimes I imitate Santa, which I'm going to do this weekend. I dress up as him in the neighborhood.
Awesome.
I like soccer and hockey. Go Buffalo. And let's see, we have a dog named Luna, and I work in the medical field.
Fantastic. Awesome, Dave. Alan.
I'm a lover and spouse of this lovely lady for 48 years.
Oh, good for you.
Congratulations.
I'm blessed. We own a compounding pharmacy, and as Kathy knows, I'm a workaholic in recovery. And I also have 6 grandchildren, and I'm very blessed with 2 kids, and we live in Cleveland, Ohio also, and working on changing our lives.
Fantastic. I love it. I love it. Beverly, pardon me. I
Yes.
can't remember your last name.
That's okay. My name is Bev Israel. We live in Cleveland, Ohio. I am married to Alan. I have 2 children and 6 grandchildren. I am a caregiver for my mother, who lives next door and is 87 years old. I work at the pharmacy, but I work from home. And what else? I think that's it.
Well, I love it. I love it. Dave, Beverly, it's awesome to have you guys. Or Alan, sorry, pardon me. Dave, you're up.
All right, so 2 wonderful little girls. Got 7 to go. So, wonderful girls, Emily and Meredith. One of the best adventures ever had in life is across America, Crest Trail, incredible. I when I was 11 years old,
Lights.
a weird fact. I have been to every continent except for Antarctica. Let's see, I've been married to Debbie for almost 11 years now. We went to Italy for our 10-year anniversary, and I love to help other people tell their stories.
I love it. That's awesome, Dave.
I think that's
Last
7.
but not least, Debbie.
My name is Debbie. I have to tell you, for my second one, I have this innate fear of introductions, so I love the way that you set this up. So thank you. I love all things Christmas, and I have 2 daughters.
Fantastic. I love it. So for everybody who's going to be watching this on recording, because there's about 65 people who have signed up for this, a lot of who have said certain days or they can't make it, certain days they're going to pop back in. That's why we wanted everyone to use the Facebook group. So be sure to go in, throw yourself up on the Facebook group, let people know who you are, engage with people, because people are going to be coming and going. But we want to make this a real solid, intricate relationship, something that is intimate, something that is being done with like-minded people that are growing together. And really, it creates this empowering space that is safe, that is open, where everybody's leveling up together. And that's what's so unique about this group and the next 6 sessions that we're going to do together. So if everyone can open up their workbooks and really go to exercise 1. And the big thing that we want to talk about is we always talk about what is the mission for your life. And if I take a look back, I always start with this story because forever growing up in Canada, my goal was to play hockey in the National Hockey League, and made it one step away in the American League with Columbus's farm system. Wasn't in Ohio, but was in Springfield, Massachusetts, a place nobody ever needs to visit. But
Been there.
very quickly went into coaching and coached at the National Hockey League level on the performance side, and really was always obsessed with human performance and how to optimize ourselves and our being. And I found myself almost 2 years ago to the day being fired. Our staff was fired, and I did not know what I was going to do with myself. I had wrapped my entire being into my identity of a coach and into the idea of having the NHL as the end all be all. And that is all that I knew. And that was what I put my entire being into. It cost me relationships. It cost me time. It cost me a lot of things that I had to step up and own at the end of the day, and had to create this unified vision for where I wanted to go, because I had no idea where I was. And it took me going to a conference. It was actually one of my business coaches that I went to this conference down in San Diego. And as I was sitting there, I created an entire vision. And people had talked about this before. Write your mission down, write your goals down. And I was just like, yeah, okay, I get it. But had never really bought into the fact of what happens when you truly have a vision, a mission, and clarity for what you want to do. And so for the first time ever, I sat down and created this mission of what I wanted my year to look like, what I wanted my goal to look like. And it wasn't something that overnight changed my life, but it was over the span of this entire weekend of putting hard, focused work into creating clarity. And the moment that I got clarity, I was able to conceptualize it. And the moment I was able to conceptualize it, I was able to see it. And the moment I was able to see it, I was able to believe it.
And you spent 48 straight hours.
And I spent 48 straight hours
working through
action steps of what these action steps would actually be. And now 2 years later, I'm having to do this continually over and over again, because that vision that I had 2 years ago is now my day-to-day reality. And there's power behind that. So when we look at this, I want you to go back and take a look at how hard 2020 has been. And I want you to write down that number one accomplishment that you've had in 2020. Something that no matter how difficult this year has been, no matter how arduous or how strenuous, stressful this has been, I want you to go and write down that number one accomplishment you had in 2020. And as we write that down, as we enjoy that little success, I want you to go and take a look at that, what the number one focus for 2021 is. Because where we focus our attention is what happens subconsciously. And there's something in our brain called the reticular activating system. And the reticular activating system is almost like the gatekeeper for our thought process. And what that means is anything that comes into our field of vision, anything that we pass by, our brain is only able to conceptualize 20% of what we take in, 20% of stimulus. And our reticular activating system actually filters out anything else that our brain considers noise. So the moment that we figure out what our number one focus is, what we want to actually happen, as experiences start to come to us, that is where our attention starts to go. Has anybody ever watched The Secret or heard of The Secret or any of those types of things? It's something real. It's something that exists. That the moment that we start to conceptualize it, the moment that we start to verbalize it, the moment that we start to write it down, that is stored in our subconscious memory. And as it goes through our memory, it becomes ingrained because our brains are these goal-achieving machines. And the moment we start asking ourselves certain questions and idealizing on a certain focus, we're going to start finding opportunities that maybe would have passed us by before because our reticular activating system would not have brought it into fruition. So we're going to go deeper there, but I want you to give one number one focus in 2021. And then a number one goal that you want both personally and professionally. And the reason that we want this, and again, I want it to be different from your spouse. Do it differently. It doesn't have to be, don't fill this out together. Have it be something that you want to accomplish. Something that is going to build and lift you up. Something that empowers you. Something that really encourages you. A goal that maybe you've been planning for a while, or something that's been in the back of your head that you've just kind of let go by the wayside. And then I want you to think about what your number one superstar skill is. Because a lot of times we have this issue of allowing ourselves to tap into, pat ourselves on the back. Every single one of us has a superstar skill, something that lifts us up.
What's yours, Justin?
Mine is energy, to be honest. I have this, and again, this is me talking about myself. It's difficult. It's hard. But I have this energy that pulls people in. It's warm, it's welcoming, it's positive. And the reason that I know this is because it's what everybody always says. I can't believe your energy. You're so positive. We love having you around because you set the temperature in the room. You rise the overall effect of the room. And so every single person has a superstar skill. Every single one of us on here. And quite often we do not give ourselves the credit that's due for that superstar skill. And we have to own that. We have to allow that to be what's the shining light behind what we do and who we are. And so I want you to give those a little bit of thought. And like Elise said, we don't need to write them all down now, but all of these small pieces are going to start to come to make a puzzle that creates a beautiful picture at the end of the day.
So as you start to go through this and as you start to formalize whatever these things are in your head, one of the things that a lot of the mindset work I do with clients is all about core values. And, you know, we found it really important to incorporate this piece into it because oftentimes when I'm working with a client, oftentimes people go through life and they may feel they're in misalignment with whatever their values may be. I know I mentioned at the beginning in my introduction that I found myself unfulfilled. And it was real in my fashion career because although on paper it looks like the most glamorous thing, I mean, it's any girl's dream job, there was a misalignment in my values. I was finding that a lot of what was driving me from a value perspective were external things instead of internal things. So when I got super honest with myself and super clear on what those values were, my entire life changed. I mean, this is coming from a girl who, since she was 13 years old, wanted to be a buyer in New York City, and that is exactly what I was doing. So my entire life changed within the span of 6 months. We no longer live in New York, and I no longer work in the fashion industry. I'm now an entrepreneur, and it's all because I got super clear on what my values were. And when I do this work with clients, oftentimes they see drastic shifts within their life as well. So there's a bunch of different core values. There's so many things in life that can be core values, and I will read off to you what a couple of ours are, because Justin and I sat down and thought about what ours were. We of course have our own personal core values, but we also have Own It values. Some of those include, but are not limited to, honesty and integrity. We always aim to be transparent, true, and real about who we are and what it is that we do. We commit to do right by all those we come into contact with. Another one, open-mindedness and non-judgment. We want to create a community that is inclusive, not exclusive. So dropping all insecurities, and Ron will know this, at the end of all our workouts, we ask everybody to just dance. So another one for us is relationships and rich connection. We value each and every connection we make, and not only with just our clients, but with all of those that we work with. And in order to foster a true connection, we value being present and in the moment, which is something we take a lot of time to do. Empowerment and inspiration. We want to show up every day to empower one person at a time. Step by step, we want to improve the world around us. And then finally, learning and growth. We strive for excellence, not perfection, because perfection does not exist. Last of all, we own all of the above and strive to live this not only in our professional lives, but in our daily lives. So that is our set of Own It values. A little bit of inspiration to get the juices flowing. But when we got super clear on what this was for the business, we found that our business went to a whole new level as well. So that's why we really want each of you to get super crystal clear on what it is your own personal values are. And it may not be 3, it may be more than 3. It may be 7, it may be 12, it may be 20, who knows, whatever it is for you. But getting super crystal clear on what your values are and creating your action plan for 2021 based on those is really important.
And once you become clear on those values, there really doesn't become any difficult decisions. Everything literally becomes laid out for you. There becomes potentially difficult conversations to have, but if openness, honesty, transparency become a foundational pillar to a value, then those become open for you and your significant other, for you and everybody that you come in contact with. And so that's where really enforcing those core values becomes important, and why spending time understanding what they are and truly owning them, having an emotional connection to them, transforms the way in which you operate. So as you guys go on tonight, that is what I want you to really kind of keep in the back of your mind. And you can be making notes during all this and jotting some things down, but we really want you to revisit these as we're done and work through these, so that it's something that's why we wanted to do this over a 3-week span, something that gave you time in between, something that isn't done overnight, not over a weekend, because we know it so often. We go to conferences or read books, and we store all this information. We're all high, we're excited, we're going to change the world, transform ourselves. And then we get back to real life and it kind of fizzles out. And we wanted to do this over 3 weeks because we wanted to start to build momentum. And if anybody knows what a winning streak gets started with, it starts with 1 win. And then it picks up into 2 wins. All of a sudden the team feels good, that momentum's going, it goes to 3, and then it goes to 4, and then it goes to 5. And all of a sudden that snowball effect takes us right through to a 25-game win streak that we've won games and done things that we shouldn't have done simply because we had the momentum on our side. And that's what we can start building here, rolling into 2021, is creating this space. And so heading into exercise 2, I want you to imagine, I want everybody to close their eyes. I want them to vividly see this as I talk you through this. So I want everybody to close your eyes. And I want you to imagine you're on vacation with your loved one, exactly 1 year from today. So it's 2021, December 1st.
COVID no longer exists.
It may or may not. 1 year from today, and you've gone dark. Nobody can contact you. No cell phone, no pager, no email, no AI, anything. You're completely dark. It's just you and that other person. I want you to think about what this life looks like. Your life, the one that you're living in together, the one that you've planned, the one that you've owned, the one that is not the one that you're just happened to be living in, or that you've just happened to fall upon, or that you've just happened to create, but the one that you've purposefully and intentionally put into action. And so we're going to change the way you think about your day, and thus change the way it serves your life in an everyday being. So keeping your eyes closed, I want you to think, where are you? Where are you at this very moment, December 1st, 2021? Who is around you? Is it your significant other? Is it family? Is it friends? Where is this vacation? What is the biggest difference in your life today compared to the same life and the same time last year? It could be business related, could be physically related, could be health related, could be mentally related. But what is the biggest difference in your life today, December 1st, 2021, compared to 1 year ago? Identify it, see it, smell it, taste it. And what did you do to make this dream come true, or make this a reality? What was it that got you there? Was there a mental block that was sitting there that you truly know is deep down that you finally addressed? Was it a conversation that you had with somebody that you knew had to be had? Was it a certain action you took? Was it a certain sacrifice that you made? But what was it that made that dream come true? And we may not know exactly what it was, but identify the difference. And what is it that you have to stop doing? And we may not know that answer either. But what was it that helped get us to where we were? How are we different? Because us today will not get us to where we want to be 1 year from now. What have we started doing? What have we adopted? What habits have we adopted? What have we started being more consistent with? What have we truly bought into and said, this is enough, this is where we are going to start to make action? And in seeing that version of you, having it put that smile on your face, what internal emotions are you feeling? Is it excitement? Is it joy? Is it passion? Is it release of tension? What is it? And in order to get there, what experiments do you have to start doing immediately? Because like Elise said, nothing is perfect. There is no such thing as perfection. What small iterative steps can we start integrating into our daily lives so that we can start finding this true reality in which we're living in? What conversations do you need to have in order to be this person that you see that has brought this smile on your face, that you have seen so vividly in your mind, to be in this place and to be laughing with? And what changes do you need to make in you? Notice the last part, in you. It's not what you need to change in your significant other. What do you need to change in your children? What do you need to change in your friends, in your coworkers, in your employees? What do you need to change in you to make this version of you a reality? I want you to take one last look around you while your eyes are closed. Where are you? What are you doing? What feelings do you have? What changes are around you? Who do you see? And I want you to take a mental snapshot of this. Because this is not some exercise that's just blanketed out there. This is for a purpose. This is for a reason. I did this exercise 2 years ago. And as I sat there And as I vividly pictured myself, 1 year later, I had tears streaming down my face because I was sitting in the exact room that I thought I was going to be in. I had the exact people around me, and I was doing exactly what I thought I was going to be doing. And it wasn't just because I imagined it, it was because I was able to take action on what I saw. And going back to that reticular activating system, the more we can be vivid, the more we can see it, taste it, smell it, the more clear we can be, the more intention we can act with, the closer we can drive ourselves to get there. So I slowly want you guys to open up your eyes. And I'm going to allow you guys to go down to your papers. I want you to start writing. We're going to take the next 3 minutes just to write. I want you to be so clear on who that was. Take notes. You don't need to go in depth on each one, but make notes that are going to jog your memory back to where you just were. Take notes that are going to throw you back to that moment. Notes that are going to throw you back into that emotion that you were in. Notes that are going to make that place that you were so clear so that it's going to help guide the decisions as we lead ourselves through. Going back to that story I was at, I sat down, and as I was going through this, they said, imagine yourself in the room and where you were at. And at this point, back in San Diego, I was on my way to move out to New York City, and we were living in Elise's 1-bedroom apartment. There was no real view of anything. I didn't know what we were doing. Everything was up in the air. And I sat in this room and I pictured myself in New York City with Elise. We had a dog. There was a beautiful New York City skyline. There was music playing softly. We were eating dinner. And I had a business that allowed me to work from anywhere, allowed me to spend time with Elise, allowed me to really run my life the way that I wanted. And I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know who I needed to get there. I didn't know where to start. It was daunting. I did not know the how. I just knew the vision of what it looked like. And I knew why I wanted it. And when I was so clear on that year from then, Own It had started. We were sitting in a 2-bedroom apartment overlooking the skyline of Manhattan. We had Dell. We were sitting at dinner, and I had put in my phone a reminder. I vividly remember 8 o'clock. I had an alarm set. And my alarm went off. I completely forgot about this. I looked at my phone, and it said 1 year later. And I broke down in tears. And it brings tears to my eyes right now, because it's incredible what we are capable of when we allow ourselves to sit back and create this level of clarity and this level of action of what we're truly trying to accomplish. And when we put action steps, accountability measures, and vision to what we truly want. So take the next couple minutes to kind of put that down, and I want you to pull out your phones, and I want you to go in, and whatever time it is, 6:39 Eastern. If you're out west, it's 3:39 Mountain, 4:39. Put it into your phone right now. Put that 1 year alarm in and put 1 year later as an actionable. I want you guys to put that in now, because it is going to be a life change, revolution to where we can get. And we'll be surprised where we get even in the span of 1 month or 3 weeks working together. And as we put that in, again, make sure we write those things down, but go back tonight. Go back and conceptualize this. Go back and think on this. Go back and take the time to really write in great detail. Write down to what you're eating, where you are, what the smells are around you, what your life consists of. Great detail. The more detail, the better. Use the whole entire page. Write the back if you want. Elise knows that I'm a detail-oriented person.
Yeah.
And so the more detail we can see, the better it's going to be. And you're going to, again, the processes that we learn along the way here will really help guide this as well, and start to really understand why we want to know in the detail that we're in.
We'll give just about 30 more seconds here, and then we'll jump into the last exercise we have planned for tonight. Okay, so now if you jump to the next page in the workbook, I'm going to walk you through, looks like a wheel, but this is what we call our Own It 8 pillars. And this is something that, when Justin talks about when he sat down and spent 48 hours really building the Own It system and getting really clear on a vision, this was one of the key things that came about. And this is one of our foundations for our business today. These are 8 areas of life that at any given point in time may shift and change, but are key to success and fulfillment in life. They're wellness, self-care, finances, network, legacy, faith, relationships, and career. I'll explain a bit about each one, but really in this exercise, what it's meant to do is to rate your level of satisfaction with each one of these. And as you go through, and the goal of this, the aim of this, is to really allow it to serve as a foundation in your mission setting, in your vision setting, and throughout the next 3 weeks, to really think about what are the areas of my life that I want to level up in. And on the flip side, what are the areas of my life that I'm super appreciative of, that I'm really grateful that I have these things in the area of career or wellness or relationships, whatever that may be for you. So starting with wellness. Wellness is anything that allows you to impact your body, right? So wellness could be yoga, it could be fitness, it could be sleep, it could be meditation, it could be anything that manifests in more of a physical way. Now, self-care is a little bit different, because self-care, oftentimes people may think, okay, well, wellness, what's the difference between wellness and self-care? Self-care is anything that has an impact on your spirit and on your mindset. So self-care, I like to say, is what are those things that fill your cup? So for example, meditation could fall into wellness and self-care. Yoga could fall into wellness and self-care. Same thing with fitness. But self-care could also be shutting off for an hour and going to get my nails done, or taking a drive down a scenic road. It could be it's really those things that set you back to neutral and fill your cup up.
And the things that you do just for yourself.
Exactly. Finances, it's not how much money you make, but it is your relationship with finances. It's really how satisfied am I with my relationship with finances. Network, oftentimes people say, okay, same thing, what's the difference between network and relationships? Network, think of that as your expanded network. Those around you who, if you needed a favor or you needed to ask a question about something, it's more of an expansive group of people that you have a strong contact with. Relationships is a little bit different. Those are those people who are in your inner circle. That is probably the person sitting right next to you. That is your children. I know a lot of you said that you have a few children and even grandchildren. That's those people. Family, friends, people who you really consider to be strong relationships in your life. Legacy. This is one that I know a lot of people get caught up on, and before I even went down this philosophical path for myself, it's not something I had even spent time thinking about. Legacy is, how do you want to be remembered both living or dead? What do you want to not only have people think of you about as you show up today, but even once your time has come? So that is legacy. It's not just, 100 years from now. It's how do you show up so people say, wow, that person is that type of a person to me. Faith, not religion. Faith is very much so spirituality, connecting with something greater than yourself, and faith that things will work out the way that they're meant to. And then finally, career, really self-explanatory, but your level of satisfaction with your career. So as you go through and as we, after we end the session tonight, what we'll ask you to do is go through, rank those on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being very low satisfied, 10 being I'm completely satisfied. I feel like I have no more room to grow in this area. And what we're going to ask you to do is think of a key 2 to 3 that you want to improve upon. You could have something that's an 8 that you want to improve upon. Just because it's a 6 or above doesn't mean you don't want to improve upon it. It's whatever you choose to improve upon, to really focus on, and to bring it into your mission and vision for 2021.
And what's awesome about the pillars is that as we choose 2 or 3, there's going to be a season for everything. There's going to be a season where we really focus in on the career aspect. There's going to be a season where we really focus in on the relationship aspect. There's going to be a season where we really focus in on the wellness aspect. And they're going to undulate. They're going to come and go. It's just like a piston system in an engine. If you push down on 2 pistons at once, the engine will explode. But if you're focusing on one goes up, focus on the other one goes up. And so that's how we operate through this pillar system. And as Kathy's going to start to get educate as we go through, the way we communicate, the way we work together in a relationship, it becomes this piston system that starts to operate much more smooth, much more clean. And so a lot of what I want you guys to utilize today and get out of today is that it's very individually driven. Everything I want you to go through is focused on you as the individual. Again, going all the way back to the top, and as we kind of work through this, is what do you want to accomplish? What are you focused on? What is it that you want individually as a person? As we sit there, it's not what does Elise want me to do? It's what do I truly want? What is it that truly lights you up inside, fires that flame up, hits that passion, and allows you to accomplish what you want? And something that truly, maybe you've been holding back on a little bit. Maybe you haven't communicated in this way before. Maybe you haven't stepped into this light in this way before. But take a look at it as an individual. Figure out those values for yourself. What values do you want? What values, again, these are your non-negotiables, things that will end relationships, end business partnerships, end friendships, things that are so ingrained, mean, and deep to you that you shape decisions based upon them. And then as we continue to go through, get so clear on where you want to be on that 1 year from today. And that's as you as an individual. And I'm curious to see, as we come together, how close these things actually align, how close we actually get. And as we're able to communicate them in a more effective way, how they start to all come together. And then as we get down to that last exercise and really start to go through that pillar wheel, I want us to do it on our own. Go through this all on our own. Write down what these things mean to you in the certain areas. And then at the end, come together and openly have a discussion about, hey, what do they look like? Why does that feel that way for you? But as we do this individually, we'll get to that point where we come together. We'll get to that point, I think, in module 3 when Kathy hops in. Mm-hmm. But right now, everything is individualized. I know you guys are going to want to share. I know you guys are going to want to come together, but try to keep it, again, separate. Work on this alone so that as you come through, this whole process starts to articulate itself and magic happens towards the end.
So I think before we get into the question section, we have a gift to give away.
We do have a gift to give away. And so for tonight, it is a full CBD packet from Kenai Brands. And We drew names, everything at the beginning. So week 1 is Tarek. So I'll be getting your information, and I'll be sending. I'll send all that over to you. But guys, today I want to open it up to you guys. Do you guys have any questions about the exercises? Do you have any questions about what we're going through, what we're embarking on,
Or even just comments about the evening.
and kind of where we're going? Yeah, Tarek, go for it.
So first, I just want to say thank you to both you, Justin, and Elise, and Kathy, and everybody who's going to be participating. Just thank you for really just being generous with yourselves, generous with your time, with your energy, with your wisdom, and the contribution that you're going to make to all of us. I'm a Cleveland fan. I have a good friend of mine, a former college roommate who lives in Cleveland, and he's from Broadview Heights. So when all of you guys are talking about Cleveland, I'm like, oh yeah, cool, sounds awesome. And went to St. Ignatius, for high school. And I'm just excited. And in case some of you may be wondering, I do not currently have a significant other. I actually ended a relationship a little more than a year ago, after 6 years. And it's funny, as I'm listening to you, Justin and Elise, I was thinking to myself, how apropos it would have been had we had something like this, a couple of years back. And maybe we still would be together, maybe not. But either way, I just greatly appreciate what you guys are doing. And I know that it's going to just help me level up myself, and I'm the type of person that wants to keep growing anyways. So I'm just super excited to see where this all goes. So thank you.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing, Tarek.
Yeah, that's amazing, Tarek. We can't wait to be a part of this journey with you guys. And in terms of being generous, we've had so many people that have been generous with us, so many people that have guided and helped us, and been transformational in our own relationship along the way. So this is something that we can't wait to do. Dave?
Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you as well. Grateful, it's definitely not every day that, and I know you just kind of explained it, but still, it's worth saying again, just thank you. It's not every day that somebody's generous with their time, the way that you're being right now, and helping to invest in other people and their lives and dreams and goals and relationships. So thank you.
You're very, very welcome.
Absolutely.
Very welcome. And so guys, as we go through this, Trisha?
I just wanted to say, I went through a similar thing with my business. Like I had a career coach, and really, really transformative. I ended up leaving a big job and opening my own business a year ago after going through that whole process and figuring out your core values and your mission, and what really makes you tick, what really makes you happy in life. And it's interesting how easy decisions are if you align them with your goals and values. It's I do it with like my younger colleagues now, because they're like, well, I don't know what to do. And I was like, well, let's figure out what what makes you tick. You write it down, you make a chart, and you say, do these things fulfill those or not? And it's amazing how if you just kind of like let it wash over you in your brain, how you can't do it, but you write it down on a piece of paper and make it very concrete, how simple it is and how right it is too. So
yeah, you're completely right, Trisha. And even how much peace it gives you in doing so. It's as if there's this instant sense of calm, like I know I'm doing the right thing.
Yep, it's true.
No, and it's so exciting. This day one is so introductory, and I just want to dive into it all, because it gets I just know what the end process is like, and how we entered today is not going to be how we enter at the end, and that's or how we exit at the end. And that's the transformative process that we're all going to go through, is something that I just love to see in every single person. And coming through the end of December here, it's going to be coming at a great time. So I couldn't agree with you more. Kathy, do you have something?
I don't know. While I've been listening to you guys, I'm just thinking about the context of COVID. And I don't know about anybody else, but it's kind of like paralyzing. You know, I mean, there are parts of it, it's like, oh, geez, can I go here? No, I can't go here. I can't go. But this is kind of like freeing me up. It's like it from the inside out, even though we feel like we can't do A, B, or C, it's liberating. I don't know what else to say. In the context of COVID for me.
Absolutely. And that's, again, a big motive for us is we know what that was like. And we just happen to be in one of those industries and doing something that we're blessed to be able to continue to work through COVID, where it has impacted a lot of other people in different ways. And to be able to, we had to pivot. We've had to do all this. And the more we can put our arms around everybody in a certain way, the more that we can show up for people, the more that we can be vulnerable for people and create a community that allows us to level up and put ourselves in uncomfortable situations that bring out the inner being of us and where we want to go, and getting clear with that. Doing it in a collective group, in a community, it becomes almost not as scary because we're taking it all on together. We're moving forward together, and not just going into 2021, but leaping into it and moving in a very unique way.
And also, you know, the context of COVID is really interesting because it actually allows us to do something like this. Because I'm speaking for myself. I don't know if I would feel comfortable sitting down for an hour on a Zoom call a year ago. And now with everybody so comfortable with Zoom calls, and you know, there's just a much more dynamic way of being able to create communities and connect to people. So, you know, there are a lot of things that we have to be thankful for when it comes to COVID.
And we also have to thank you guys for being here as well, because you guys are taking time out of your day. You guys are taking the hour 6 times over the course of the next 3 weeks, and then time to reflect as well. And
but you guys make it all worth it for us. That is why we are here.
Exactly. And there's going to be people joining us on Thursdays. People are going to be coming and going. There's, like I said, the sign up was at 50 total emails for couples. So it's probably about 75 total people. And there's going to be really cool relationships that come out of this, and really cool networking opportunities, as well as growth on a personal, individualized level. And I cannot wait to just go through all of this with you guys. So again, thank you.
So we ask you get super clear on everything. And then on Thursday, we will be walking you through how to put your plan and everything into action. Trisha, did you have a question?
Yeah. Is there a schedule someplace? Because, you know, I'm not really a detail person. That was the thing.
Yeah,
like,
it's super easy.
It was like, I didn't find out it was Tuesday until the day I emailed you.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I guess the first day is Tuesday. Can we do Tuesday? You know, and I don't know when any of the other sessions are.
Okay. So yes, the schedule,
but
it's very easy. It's Tuesday and Thursday this time for the next 3 weeks.
Okay.
Tuesday, Thursday, 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern time. Same Zoom link. You guys should be getting follow-up emails after every single session with the recording, as well as the new or same Zoom link, same option to download the workbook, same option to go into the Facebook group and make the little video introducing yourself. We'll also post the recordings in the Facebook group as well, if you want to grab it there. So everything should be there. If anybody's not getting those emails, please let us know. Throw your email into the chat box, and Elise can throw them in again if you're not getting them.
And I will put mine and Justin's in as well.
But those should be coming through.
You need it. You need to reach out to us at all. All right.
Awesome, guys.
Great.
Phenomenal day one. I hope you guys had fun. And we're just turning up the heat now. So make sure when you come back, you take an extra layer off, because it's going to get going.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Have a great day. We'll see you guys Thursday.
Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.
You didn't hear what I said. I said, is it time to dance now?
Oh, we should have danced. Ron, we're adding that in. We're adding that in on
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
I love it. I
You
love
guys-
it. See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Good night, guys.
Bye.